Well, another round of box inside a box. So this one, well, you probably can read the video title, so you know what it is. But let's get the first box out, open and get the second box out to see just exactly how small it is in comparison. Now, to give you an idea of how much the actual difference is between the packing and the box. I mean, look how big that box. That means that this distance between here to there is how much padding is in the top and bottom of the guitar when it's shipped by Sweetwater. They do a great job, I want to clarify, of getting everything to us safe. I've never had a bad experience with him. So if you're looking at buying from Sweetwater, know that they are going to do a pretty good job. But let's get this box open and then see what's inside. Now, something I find interesting on the boxes from Sweetwater, American Musical, the Guitar Center, places like that, when they ship them to the big companies like that, these boxes are just this kind of insulation, or packaging where they're done like that. When they come from the demo shop or from Gibson, they come in boxes that are different. They have actual staples that hold them in position. So I cannot help but wonder if that's done like this to make it easier on the places that do resale. I really don't know, but I find it interesting that the way they all come with these now. They didn't originally come with these, but they all come with these guys now. So that's cool. But the more important thing about this deal is the boxes are different, and I don't know why. I think it's interesting that they have two different types of boxes. Maybe that's helpful, maybe it's not. But at the end of the day, this one is going to be a fun one to get out. Pretty good insulation in this one. I don't know if Gibson is the one that did the actual work on this, or if this was a Sweetwater deal, but I'm going to have to get this one out, I'm going to have to, pause it and pull it all the way out. So I don't know if Sweetwater did some of this packaging or not. I know beyond a shadow of doubt that comes from Gibson and that comes from Gibson. But this stuff right here isn't usually in the box when it comes from Gibson. But look how much stuff is in the box to protect it. That's why I couldn't get this one out without taking a break, pulling it all the way out. So Gibson, Sweetwater, whoever did an amazing job of insulating this guitar. Now, I'm going to bring something up, and that is these cases. Now, this is the one we're looking at today, right now. And if you look at it, it has a very rough texture to it. And it is very much, I'm going to be interested to see where this one is made, because this is what we've been getting from Gibson. And these are very similar looking, but even right there you can see that the Adam Jones guitar has a very different texture to it than the one that is with it. And this one is this one right here is off of the classic. That's the ebony with white, so what I call the tuxedo classic. And this one is the standard. So, very interested to see what's inside. Now that we got the classic out of the way, let's see what Sweetwater's got delivered to us. Ooh, and it's a tight fit too. It is the Adam Jones Les Paul Standard. Now, this one is one that I had been eyeing for a while, but was kind of looking for one that I thought was just the right deal. I'm not really big on bursts. I like them, but it's not like my favorite design. But there's something about that silverburst, that antique silverburst with ebony fretboard. I have a thing for ebony fretboards, and this one, having an ebony fretboard on a standard, is something I personally have never seen. If you know of a model before this one that was a standard that had an ebony fretboard, talk about it in the comments, because I would like to know if that's something that was specific to a generation of them, or if it's just because Adam Jones Les Paul Custom had the ebony, so they decided to put it on a standard. So, standards with ebony fretboards. New to me, maybe not new to everybody. So before we get into looking closely at the guitar, this really does feel very much like the other one. The question is, where is this one made? Oh, look, this is new. Unlock the Gibson experience. Download the Gibson app. Been there, done that. So, that's a new little card that we haven't seen in a demo shop guitar, but that's probably because of where they are made. So, this one seems to be made in Costa Rica. So, Costa Rica made case, but this texture is definitely different, and it's not bad. I kind of like it better, but I don't know if it's specific to the Adam Jones or if it's a new generation of the black case. I guess time will tell. What all kinds of good stuff did we get in the case? So in the case candy, you get the baby picture, which I really do like that. I think that's kind of cool. Blank truss rod cover. So that's kind of neat. That's, of course, your standard cleaning cloth tool. You get a pre-packed checklist that I've never seen them do before, but it's also in part of the new, smaller warranty card information stuff. The actual Gibson strap and the owner's manual. Not much different, but the new blank truss rod cover is different. And of course, the key. That right there is just the key package. Now to the guitar. Now the Adam Jones Standard, basically just like any other plain top standard, except for the fact that it's got the silver. It's a silver burst, so it doesn't have a visible wood grain. Ebony fretboard, like I say, that's kind of what drew me into this model. I'd been eyeballing it, thinking about it, but never really pushed the button on it before. And they were kind of scarce, and they're going for above. You know, as soon as I got them, they'd sell them, and I didn't really want to pay above sticker price for it. So when this one came up at Sweetwater, and it was a great deal, I decided to jump on it. Now, I haven't really had a whole lot of experience with standards. I've had a 50s and 60s standard, and I liked them. Good guitars. Zero hate. The fit and finish of them was great, but something about it, I'm spoiled to the 58 reissue. So the R8 kind of made me a little just kind of, I didn't really ever fall in love with the 50s and 60s standards, because there was something about the R8 that just felt better. Now, I like that. That design is pretty cool, and it being on there is just different and cool. Like I say, I like stuff on the back of the headstock. It just kind of makes it different. So, and then there's the more pronounced volute there, which indicative of Norland era. Also, the tuners on this one, I like the way that the Spearsall style tuning knobs are. They're on Grovers, but they look like they're old Spearsall type units. And I guess that was specific to the Norland era in the late 70s. So 79 would definitely have had that. Also, it has the bigger strap buttons that are kind of almost like strap locks, but not really. So that's neat. Something else, I dig that the chrome knurled switch knob or switch key, or I don't know, switch knob, switch key. I'm not really sure how to say that, but that's a cool feature. And that switch feels pretty stiff. Actually stiffer than most of the ones that even like on the 50s and 60s standard, that's a little more firm than those were. Be interested to see how that feels when you're playing. I guess now, since this one's been sitting around for a couple of days, should be acclimated to the temperature. So let's plug it in, find out exactly what it sounds like on a couple of just quick demos. Then it'll be time to put it up next to something a little more upscale at a different day. So I can definitely see why this finish is a love or hate deal, because it is at times very unphotogenic. In person, this silver is a lot brighter than what the camera can pick up. And I don't see it as nearly as yellow as what the camera seems to be picking up. So take it with a grain of salt, but this guitar is actually more silver than the yellowy gold color that it shows in the video, and I can't change the contrast to bring that out. Now, everything else looks exactly like it is supposed to. And this ebony fretboard is nice and dark, though there are a couple of little spots, like right here. You can't really see it unless I get it just right. That is a part of a streaked part of ebony. And ebony, most people think of as dark black, and for the most part it is. But there is streaked ebony that also makes up a pretty good portion of the tree. And Bob Taylor did a big video on this years ago about how they were only using like 10% or 15% of the ebony that they were harvesting, and so it was wasting a lot of the tree. So you'll see, especially on Taylor guitars, streaked ebony, but also Fender has gotten into streaked ebony as well. So there's some Fender guitars, and we own one that is the American Professional Limited that has it has a streaked ebony fretboard. But there is something I was not expecting about this guitar. It has a fuller tone than I was giving it credit for having, and I don't know exactly how to explain that, because I've had several different guitars here, but this one has some of the best sounding pickups, and I'm really curious what the output is on them. When we go, and I'm going to compare this to the R8, and I gotta tell you, this has a really good sound that almost makes me think that it could go toe to toe with the R8, and that's why I'm interested in putting them next to each other, because there's a moment of wondering just exactly how good this really is. But anyway, without further ado, starting off on the neck pickup, let's get some basic tones. pickup. And in the middle. These two pickups together sound so amazing, and they are so full, and they have great output. So with that in mind, I gotta tell you, this guitar has a great sound, and it's a sound that's all its own. Now, I think it's this is like the pickup that is Adam Jones's pickup. I think it's like a super distort. It's a DiMarzio or Seymour Duncan, something like that. But I'll put the right answer to that in the description on the video. But the bottom line is, this guitar has a sound, and the feel actually is just butter smooth. Sometimes you get these glossy backs, and they really do cling to you, and you have to kind of play them in a little bit, or get them a little bit just slick, slimy, whatever. And this guitar doesn't have that. It just, you can go up and down the neck and just just really does well. Now, let's throw some dirt on it. I'm going to be playing, actually, I'm not going to change amps this time. I'm going to use the Metal Zone through the Fender, because I've really been digging the tones it's been giving me just lately. I don't know if the 68, twin reverb is just breaking in after a while or what, but that with the Metal Zone has been just a great sound like recently. Start off on the neck. onto the bridge. Thing will play forever. That's what I love about the Metal Zone. So just now I did turn the level up a bit on the Metal Zone to straight up what will be 12 o'clock, so 5 on your settings. So it is turned up just a smidgen, but in the middle now. Just does everything well, and I gotta tell you something, I like it. I think it's pretty awesome. Looking forward to putting it up next to the R8 because on clean tones it has a sound that I was just not expecting. I was thinking it was going to be a little harsher. And it just isn't. It just isn't. It's not harsh. It's not bitey. It's just smooth and clean. And for those same pickups to be as good at distortion as they are, it's really kind of crazy. But I guess, you know, if you're Adam Jones, you got to have those nice clean sounds that you can jump back and forth on. So again, Adam Jones, Les Paul Standard, 79 Les Paul Standard, antique silverburst, and look for it again soon as we put it up next to some other stuff. Till next time.